Good morning and welcome back to day 3 of being judgment free and finding joy. So I've hoped you've really enjoyed the last couple of days noticing and using your affirmations. So the first step for those of you that might be just watching this video is just to notice and recognize when you are judging yourself and when you're judging others, and then do a little nightly inventory through journaling or writing down some of the things that you notice throughout the day. And then the second step is to start your day with an intention or an affirmation that you can use throughout the day if you find yourself in the judgment, being really in that judgment cycle, is just to say, I choose to judge nothing that occurs. So pretty simple, and then I'll share the third step with you today. But just to talk a little bit more about judgment and about this work. So like I said before, judgment is really a learned behavior, right? So we're taking on things that have happened in the past, taking our stories from the past, and we're projecting that onto our present or in the future. And that's really holding us back, right? And so it's a big cycle, because what happens is we judge others, and then we judge ourselves, and then we judge ourselves for judging others, and then we start feeling guilty, and just want to kind of cut all of that out. So I challenge each of you to not only do this 3-day challenge, but continue this for the next 30, 60, 90 days and incorporate this into your daily life and your daily practice, and just really see how that can change your life. So even over this 3 days, a little bit more work to do. Keep going. I hope you've really enjoyed this. I went back and kind of looked at some of my notes when I first did this. You know, I had mentioned that I've done this a few different times throughout the year this year. So a couple of things that I realized at first when I first started was I was allowing circumstances or people to really dictate my happiness or my joy, right? And so I would be projecting judgments or expectations onto them, and then that would dictate how I was feeling, instead of letting that go and just being open and feeling how I'm feeling. I also noticed that I judge myself often. And I would judge myself in little ways, or maybe like joking ways that like built up. Like if I made a mistake, maybe I might say out loud or to myself, oh, that was so stupid. Or maybe if I'm talking to somebody and they give me a compliment, then I kind of put myself down instead of just like taking the compliment and saying thank you. And then of course I judge myself in other ways. It would be how I look at my clothes, or, you know, just little things like that, how I'm performing at work or something like that. So really keep that in mind too when you are thinking of judgment, because sometimes we'll say things jokingly, but those little things really build up and start to really become like a limiting self-belief in our head. What other things did I write down in my journal that I had? Oh, I think the other thing that I wrote down is just continue to not allow what others think of me to hold me back. That was something that I had done in the past. I'd always held myself back because of maybe what I was perceiving or judging others' thoughts of me to be, which that's kind of crazy, right? Back in like that judgment cycle. So I wasn't allowing myself to be my authentic self, or to be vulnerable, or really to be open with other people. And so it really held myself back, and I just kept playing small. And once I got out of that, oh my gosh, like a whole new world really opened to me. Once you're open and available and vulnerable, just amazing things can happen in your life, and things will come into your life that you just never even imagined. So those were some, sorry about that. Those were some of my notes from when I had first started, which was kind of fun to like go back and check that out. So that's something that you'll be able to do as well. So yeah, so back to the judgment cycle. Just judgment creates separation from our true self. It creates separation from others. It creates separation from a higher power. It creates guilt. Guilt creates denial. And then we just keep going and going and reliving this like each and every day. A Course in Miracles says, if you judge the reality of others, you'll be unable to avoid judging your own. So basically, if you're always judging others, you're always going to be judging yourself. And it's going to be that constant judgment cycle that we're really working to try to get out of now. Let's see, what was I going to tell you next? So I guess I will share with you next the third step, and it's pretty easy. It's just making a new choice. And so what I mean by that is when you catch yourself judging yourself or judging others. You just want to tell yourself that you choose to see this differently. An easy thing to say is just, I recognize this thought is not of my highest self, and I choose to see this differently. Or just simply say, I choose to see this differently. And you may not know exactly how you're choosing to see it differently, but just giving that out there, putting that out there, you'll start recognizing how you are going to start to see things differently. So again, first step is noticing and recognizing. Second step is starting your day with your intention and your affirmation. I choose to judge nothing that occurs. And then the third step is when you do find yourself being in that judgment, just saying out loud, or even just in your head, you know, if you're in public, just saying, I recognize this thought is not of my highest self, and I choose to see this differently. And so I hope these steps have really helped you along your journey in finding happiness this holiday season and finding more joy in your life. And this is something that you can do not only during this really, really busy holiday season, but this is something that you can continue and to use as a new tool in your tool bag to create more happiness and more joy in your life. So I hope this served you well, and if you want more things like this, I do offer, you want to head over to my website, authenticrealshit.com. Yes, that's what I said. Kind of funny name, right? But check out my Be Undeniable program, because I do offer a really neat 8-week program that really teaches you how to get out of your head, how to step into your power, find happiness, find your purpose in life, find gratitude, really change your way of thinking. So check that out if you want more information like this, and I wish each and every one of you a happy, joyful holiday season, and use these steps to be judgment free. Okay, take care. Thanks for joining.